One of the number one reasons why women struggle with dating and relationships today is that they choose men who are not ready for anything real. Ladies, there are lots of great relationship-ready men out here. However, you need to learn how to choose them. I wrote this book to teach you how to do just that. Get your copy of Choose Well, a simple formula to determine the best man for you on Amazon today.
Good morning. All right, I'm headed to the park to get my 2 miles in. I'm doing something a little different because I had to had to run some errands and pick up some things, so I couldn't just walk from home. But I wanted to make this video because I've been working with my counseling clients on building capacity versus just running away. Or what we like to say in therapy speak, setting boundaries. So there is a time and place for you to set boundaries with people, right? That's important. That sometimes you have to let people know that, hey, there are behaviors, there are things that are happening that don't work for me, and they don't put me in a good headspace. They don't feel safe, right? There's a time and a place to set boundaries with people. And remember, setting boundaries with people is not about controlling them or what they do. I often have to differentiate this because people think setting a boundary sounds like, don't call me, after 9 o'clock, or don't talk to me like that. That's one that I hear from women a lot. Don't talk to me like that. And they're surprised when the man immediately gets defensive or he continues talking like that, because most people don't like to be told what to do. Most people don't like to be managed. Most people don't like to be bossed around. So boundaries, healthy boundaries sound like, hey, if you continue to use profanity, if you continue to name call, I'm just going to leave this conversation. See? So that person has every right to do what they're doing. You're just not going to stick around for it. And remember, as a full-grown adult, that is your right to do. You need to get gone. What a lot of you all are doing is you're seeking to control other people and how they show up for you or don't. No. The only thing you get to do is you get to stick around or not. You get to be with that person or not. That, for some reason, is a really hard pill for some people to swallow because they want that person. They want a specific version of that person. They want that person to show up a very specific way. And when that doesn't happen, okay, that's when there's a problem for them. Why aren't you showing up in this very specific way? Why aren't you calling or texting or planning dates or doing this or doing that? No, that's not for us. That's not for us to figure out. We can share with the person what we like, what we want, what we don't want, and what we need, how we need them to show up for us. But in all honesty, it's up to them to decide if they want to do that or not. It's up to them to decide if they can consistently do that. And this is why I will die on this hill that you have to empower yourself in these relationships. You all keep giving your power away. Well, if she would do this, if he would do that, if only this happened. No. I express, I use words, I use healthy communication, and I may even do that more than once. But I have limits. And once I reach that limit of, hey, I've expressed multiple times, this might not be for me. We may not be compatible. You may not be able to do the thing that I'm asking you to do. That's what you do. You don't squeeze and force a person into your box. And I often tell you all, please, please, please choose better. Please choose a person that can give you the relationship you want. When are we going to learn? You have to grow up and recognize that every person that makes your genitals tingle, every person that makes your stomach do flips, every person that gives you butterflies may not be able to give you the relationship you want for a myriad of reasons. And the second thing for you to know, it's important to be in the relationship you want. Life is miserable when you are with a person and you're not in the relationship you want. That is a miserable, miserable life. So yes, the relationship that you want, that you need, is important. We don't talk about this enough. Choose someone that can give that to you. Choose someone that can spend the time that you want, that can give the gifts that you want, that can go the places that you want. Choose someone that gives you the physical affection that you want and need. Choose someone that can use their words to express how they feel about you. And as soon as you see that that is not there, you express yourself with words, and you can write it out or you can speak it, and you give that person a chance to meet you where you're at. But if they can't, if they won't, go on about your business. Go about your business. Because now you are living in the land of, oh my gosh, I've got to squeeze this person into this box. And it's miserable. It's miserable for you, and it's miserable for them. That's what we don't talk enough about. The person that you're trying to change and squeeze into your box, they are miserable. They are miserable, as you are too. Y'all, you think about is how miserable you are. Think about how they must feel. This person is trying to get me to dance when I don't like dancing. This person is trying to get me to be outgoing when I am introverted. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be out every night. I don't want to hang out with, your 12 friends every weekend. Right? If that's not them, that's not them. So that may not be your person. See, we don't want to say any of this. We don't want to talk about any of this. But it has to be said if we want our relationships to be healthy. Anyway, going back to capacity. So we've talked about boundaries. We've talked about not squeezing people into the relationship box we want them to fit in. Now we need to talk about capacity. And capacity must be addressed because we have this new, and I'm going to call it relatively new, because it is now like becoming very popular. This relatively new, what do I want to say? It's this movement, okay, where people are going no contact with not just an ex, they're going no contact with their family. They're going no contact with friends. They're just cutting people off and cutting people out. And here's what I want to say about that. Every family member is not a narcissist or a Machiavellian personality or, a sociopath or a psychopath or whatever therapy speak. Every family member, is not that. Some people are difficult. There are some personalities that are difficult. There are some personalities that are, broken and wounded. And we need to learn how to increase our capacity for, their personality, if I'm being honest. And I'm not talking about people that are toxic and unsafe, because there is a difference, and your therapist should be teaching you the difference. There are lines that need to be drawn with people who are just unsafe. I had a client 5 years ago. I'll never forget her. Beautiful woman. She was married. She had 3 children. Beautiful woman. And she had been sexually molested by her father. They were a Christian family. And she just felt this, she felt this obligation to stay in contact with him. She felt an obligation to stay in contact with him, to invite him to everything, to do, and it was eating her alive. eating her alive. And all the hoops she had to jump through to, not have her children be around him and all of this. I was like, baby, let me give you permission. If nobody has given you permission, let me give you permission. You do not need to continue this relationship. In my humble opinion, this man, he's unsafe. He's unsafe to you. He's unsafe to your children. So let me give you permission to stop all of this. Like, you can stop all of this. And look, him and the mother, her father and her mother were separated like indefinitely because they didn't believe in divorce, but they were separated for 20 years. And it was just, in my humble opinion, ridiculous that she felt this obligation to continue to have this man around and be constantly reminded of what he did to her. And I was like, okay, let me give you permission to, that's a specific situation. Okay. That is a very, very specific, egregious situation. But you have some children going no contact with their parents because their parents disagree. They disagree with their choices, or they disagree with who they chose to marry, or what degree they chose to get, or what school they went to. Those are not offenses that would warrant you cutting your parents off. I talked to a client just yesterday, and the whole session was about capacity. And he was like, wow, I never even thought about this. And they don't like the young lady that he is considering choosing to marry. He's considering proposing to her. He's considering marrying her. So they're not, 100% on board. And I was like, okay, like, again, that's one of those issues that, okay, well, I should cut them off. No, you shouldn't. You just need to build your capacity. You need to set some healthy boundaries and build your capacity to be able to withstand their non-approval. Their non-approval is not reason to cut them clean off. You just let them know, oh, okay. Like, oh, you don't like her? All right. See? That's not an offense worth cutting your folks off for. You don't approve of it. Look, my brother married a woman that my family didn't approve of. They going on 40 years of marriage. My brother was like, okay. So, and guess what? Everybody came around. Everybody came around because she didn't do anything crazy or egregious. To be honest with you, she just came from kind of a ghetto, a hood ghetto family. And we're not that. That's really all it was, y'all. She just came from a more ghetto hood family, and we're not that. So we were like, ooh, I don't know, right? But he was like, okay. He just told us so. He set boundaries. He set boundaries with my dad specifically, because my dad was the one that was more outspoken about it. My mom and I pretty much kept our mouth closed. We felt how we felt, and we kept our mouth closed, right? And we were cordial, but, we wanted something different for him, but we kept our mouth closed. My dad was the one that was more outspoken and, oh, I'm not coming to the house and all this stuff. And my brother just set boundaries. He set boundaries with him. That if me and my wife can't come over, or if you can't, okay, I guess I won't be seeing you then. Like, he just put it over in my dad's court, on his side of the court. I'm not, this is who I'm with. This is who I have children with now. This is who I'm going to be with until I die. So, okay. But he increased his capacity for my dad's disapproval. Like, guess what? I need to get stronger. I need to stand on business. I need to be like, so, and some of y'all need that too. You so worried about other people's approval or validation or affirmation. So what? Okay. And that goes for everything. Who you choose to date and marry, what degree you get, what school you go to, what choices you make, One of the things that I often tell people who are lesbian and gay and bisexual, and you all know my thoughts. You all already know my thoughts, okay? But the one thing I do tell them, this is where I'm just open and direct. I say, look, I really want to understand why you need your family's approval. Like, they really get caught up in that. They really get caught up in, my family doesn't approve. My family doesn't approve of me, dating a woman, dating a man, or marrying. And okay, like I said, but I'm being honest. Why is that so important? You've made a choice. You're telling me this is how you are. This is what it is, but you're still hung up. I mean, it's years. I have gay clients that years, and they're just like, yeah, my parents don't approve, and we're in no contact, and it's really them. Can I be real? It's really my client that just refusing to have contact. The parents are like, look, we love you, and we just don't approve, our faith or whatever reason, we don't approve of the lifestyle, but we love you and you can come around and this and that. But they're like, no, I gotta be in no contact. I'm like, but you need to increase your capacity. That, guess what? The world is filled with people that will not agree with your lifestyle, with your choices. Like, you just need to increase your capacity. And to me, once you make a decision like that, once you decide that, okay, I'm going to come out, or this is who I think I am, baby, you got to be strong. If you so weak that you're like, but I need my parents to approve for me to be happy. No, you don't. That's a you issue. That's not a them issue. That's a you issue. Okay. And it's not about hate. Can we stop with the phobia? Everything is a phobia. First of all, phobia means fear. I don't fear anybody. I don't fear gay people. I don't fear fat people. I don't fear trans people. Stop saying that. We're taking the phobia thing too far. I don't have fear of any of those folks. But if I disagree, I disagree. And again, that's the world I want to live in. That's the society I want to live in, where there's multiple opinions, multiple thoughts and feelings about subjects. And guess what? They don't all align. We don't all agree. But that's a perfect example of building capacity. That is, okay, you've made a decision for yourself in your life. You shouldn't need anybody to co-sign it. God knows I don't. God knows I don't. I have made decisions in my life, y'all, that I don't care what y'all think. I really don't. I don't care what my parents think. I don't care what my kids think. I have not dated a man yet that my mother has fully approved of. Well, I just don't like him. I don't know. Okay. And guess what she get? Okay. And I go about my business and do what I was going to do. Some of y'all need to learn that too. But what do? Well, I'm going to cut them off. I'm going to go no contact. All that's doing is making it so that you don't have to grow, so that you don't have to increase your capacity. That's all that's doing. All that's doing is you staying small. That if people don't agree with everything you do, if they don't align, if they don't co-sign everything you do, that's a small existence. That's a small existence. I was talking with another couple the other day about tolerance. And not calling every right-wing person ignorant or racist. Like, come on. So every conservative person is a racist? What? Okay, so I'm black. What if I'm conservative? And I'm a racist? Like, come on. Like, we have got to increase our tolerance and our capacity for differences. I lean conservative. Would I say I'm right-wing? No. But I definitely wouldn't say I'm liberal. And I definitely wouldn't say I'm ultra liberal or I go on the other side. But the labeling and it's like the limited capacity for the difference out here in the world is crazy to me. Okay, you doing you. Like, again, as long as whatever you believe, remember this, as long as whatever you believe don't infringe on my right to believe what I want to believe. What is the problem? What is the problem? if you support Trump, if you support everything he's doing, and okay, I have people on this channel that I had to block some people. I did. I had to block some people. I had to block some people over the not voting. I had to block some people over the whole not being vaccinated. Baby, don't come on. Don't do that. Don't do that. And look, I didn't want to block them. I felt like, okay, you made your comment, because see, I have a large capacity for a difference of opinion. You have a difference of opinion, right? You made your comment, and I've acknowledged your comment. No, these people kept coming and kept coming and kept coming and kept. I was like, yeah, see this? Now you're infringing on my right to be on my channel and to put out what it is I want to, like, I don't want to see you under every single one of my videos talking crazy. No. I am gonna send you away and let those who have ears to hear, and let those who are like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, like I said, it wasn't your comment. It was simply over and over and over. Like, how dare you think differently than me? See, that's what you're not going to do. That's when we have a problem. When you come over here and infringe on my right to be who I am and say what I want and believe what I want, that we're not doing that. Okay, you need to increase your capacity for a difference of opinion. All right, that's it. You exercise your right to vote. I didn't. That's called my business. Okay, but I had to come on here and talk about this because I'm working with clients more and more and more that you want to, cut people off and go no contact and like I said, your ex is one thing, because I do believe that you may need to block that person. You may need to go no contact with that person. That's for your mental health. That's for your mental health. That's for your healing. But look, this is what I even tell people. Put that in place for a year. And who's to say a year from now where you're going to be? If you want to revoke that and give them access and it's just a, hey, how you doing? I don't have a problem with it. But in the initial, like, I'm tempted to keep reaching out and keep looking at what they're doing. No, I say go ahead and block them. Go ahead and block them on everything and block them from your phone and go no contact. You need that in order to heal, or you'll stay stuck in a negative cycle. But who's to say a year from now, you lift all of that and whatever happens, happens. But you've moved on. They've moved on, But this whole, going no contact with the parents and certain family members. And again, it's not about safety. It's not about anything egregious. It's about a difference of opinion. And remember, that is the devil's number one tool. That's the devil's number one tool, is division. All I need to do is pit you against you. All I need to do is pit black against white, conservative against, liberal. I need to pit men against women. I need to pit Christians against not. Like, that's it. It's the oldest trick in the book. It worked every time. Every single time y'all fall right into the snare. So we have to increase our capacity for the world at large and a difference of opinion. The fact that everyone is not going to co-sign or validate or like what we do. And yeah, everything does not require running away because we're staying stuck. We're playing small. We're not growing, right? My daughter, our personalities probably are more alike than they are different. And she has definitely helped me to grow my capacity. Because we rub each other the wrong way. We can be the best of friends. We can be the worst of enemies. And we rub each other the wrong way. And so I have lately been working on setting boundaries, growing capacity. Okay? I'm never going to clean cut her off unless she do something crazy. But I have to have healthy boundaries. I have to have her in doses. And then I have to have space. And that's who I am as a person anyway. I have space from all my kids. I spend a lot of time with them, and then I have space from them. So today is a paperwork day. I'll spend hours and hours and hours editing videos up in my studio. I'll spend hours and hours, doing notes, getting billing done and all of that. I'll spend time away from people because I need space. So space is fine, right? Needing to process your thoughts is fine, but it's the running away. That's what I don't get. I have lots of couples and relationships where one of them shuts down, one of them runs away. They play this stupid block game. I have couples, y'all, that live in the same house. I kid y'all not. They are married and live in the same house and blocking each other. Make that make sense. And I'm like, huh? Well, I was at work and he was blowing up my phone and I blocked him. Okay, but when you got home, there he was. What? What? Y'all, I can't make this up. So I wanted to make this video. Somebody needed to hear this. You are running from something. It's not about protecting your peace. It's not about not putting up with people BS. You have a low capacity for either conflict or feeling uncomfortable. You don't know how to stand up for yourself. That's another thing. So many people, y'all don't have a clue how to just stand up for yourself. You don't need to run off. You just need to stand up for yourself in a healthy way. You need to set boundaries. That's it. But y'all running away and blocking people and if they say anything that I don't like, I'm gonna block. Like, come on. I've blocked exes. I have some, if I'm being honest, that are still blocked because I don't ever want to renew that relationship. I don't ever want to. I'm good. But I have some exes that are not. And, they may reach out here and there and I'll say, hey, and there you go. See, all is well. But I had to make this video. Somebody needed this. And somebody, you got to stretch and grow that capacity. Got to stretch and grow because you're playing small. And the world, especially now, it requires that you have, a 10-gallon, a 5-gallon capacity, right? To just be able to say, okay, that's a difference of opinion. Oh, we think differently about that. Oh, see? That's not that you don't need to name call. And I agree. One of my clients said, well, my mother-in-law is a Trump supporter. And she said, anyone that doesn't like Trump is stupid. I said, you know what? That's uncalled for. And I would have told her that. See, that's the difference between me and other people. I'd say, hey, really? Like, I think the name calling is uncalled for, right? You have every right to support whatever candidate you want. But to name call people who don't, I think that's where we draw the line. See, you just say that. You just say that. I don't agree, but the name calling is where I have to draw the line. That's it. All right. Well, I'm glad we had this little chat. If you'd like help with that, please consider signing up for a one-on-one session. I am always available for one-on-one sessions. Remember, Skool is still in session. You can get a 30-day free trial by emailing me at info@betterlovemovement.com. Skool will send out an email invite. You will click it, go in, put in your username and password, and there you go. You'll be in Skool. We will be discussing a video this week in Skool that's all about mindset around dating. I think a lot of people need that. I've been posting clips on Instagram about that. A lot of people need that. Your mindset is horrible. And that's the reason why, you're dating in your relationship like life is horrible. So we got to work on that mindset. We got to work on our beliefs. When you believe things are going to go bad, things are going to go bad. When you believe people are trash, people are trash. That's pretty much how it works. Okay? Everything is energy. And I always tell people I'd rather you have neutral energy than negative energy. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay open to love.